Fantastic. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm here with Patrick Tobin for the Thought Leader Network, and we are going to highlight in this series of events, we are going to highlight business leaders who are making a real impact in the industry they're involved with. So, Patrick, it's great to have you here, and if you want to say hi, and then we'll just jump into the interview.
Sounds great. Hassan, thank you for having me on the Thought Leader Network and looking forward to talking to you.
Sounds great. Well, so Patrick, I just want to start with your story. So, what's your journey? Where did you start? Where are you at now? So, just talk a little bit about your advancement in leadership.
Well, like everybody in the industry, I think coming out of the womb, it was just inherent right away that I was going to be in the automation and materials handling industry. And my parents knew right away that that's the direction I would go. For any of us who are in the industry, that's probably not the way that it went for many of us.
Yeah.
But it is, I think it's been a wonderful industry to be in, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get into it at a young age. It started really, as my father got into this industry back in the late '80s, early '90s, and through high school and college, I did do work for him. So starting on the shop floor, and when I was old enough to be able to go out and do some work for customers, got involved with our commissioning team and our service team.
Nice.
Had a little bit of a basis for understanding the business before I jumped into college and had the opportunity to go through that experience and probably had some ideas in my head about how those things were applicable to what we do, which was probably beneficial. And coming out of school, was going straight to work here at Hantech. As I got into some of it, my father had the wisdom to give me an opportunity to go out and do a few other things. He wanted me to see the world from outside of our four walls and understand what it was a little bit. In retrospect, I think as we went through that, it was probably a good idea to be able to see things from other angles. I did take an opportunity to go down to North Carolina, where I worked at the business school at the University of North Carolina, Flagler, for any who might know it. And then went to Xerox for about 3 years in Manhattan from there. Got my experience from real boots on the ground sales and understanding that customer facing component of things. Great experience. Had made some good friends and learned a lot from the guys on the sales team there at Xerox, and probably no better place to try and get your feet wet on a sales side of things than Manhattan. That was a good experience. And then when it was time to come back, I did, and had a chance to really jump in and make an impact, starting on the biz dev side of things with my father, and then eventually coming up and giving him an opportunity to step back and stepping into his seat eventually. So it was a great experience, and so I guess that's about where we went.
That's awesome. So you started a family business, but you and your dad, you all decided that, hey, let's just get a better perspective or a different perspective, or going out and see what's going on beyond what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis, and also bring that knowledge back and that learning back. That's pretty strong. A lot of times in a lot of family businesses, everybody gets, just to stay within the four walls. And after so many years, when you still ask questions, the entire knowledge is what's built inside those four walls. However, there are always opportunities outside that can be brought back to the business, goods, bads, ugly, whatever, right? So that's pretty strong that you guys did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I do. I think it was important to be able to understand things not just from trying to put yourself in the other seat, but by actually
Mm,
being in the other seat and understanding what was important when you sat on that side of the table. So it was good experience, and hopefully it's made me a better leader by going out and seeing how I was learning from my mentors and leaders
mm,
of the organizations I worked for.
yeah, that's great. So, with all the knowledge that you capture and over the years working within or working outside of the organization and bring it back. So now into your current estate in the current phase in your leadership, what type of people are you guys serving today? And what's the when you think about them, what do you deliver to them? What's your uh, main impact on your customer and client base?
Yeah, it really, as far as who we're serving at the organization, it really depends on what level of opportunity we're looking at.
Mm,
On the service side of things and support side of things, oftentimes it might be a plant manager or a maintenance manager, and what we're trying to do is provide either if it's a large organization, a third party to come in and give them an audit of their existing systems, make
mm,
sure that they're benchmarking against best practices, making sure that any sort of issues they might have from a liability and risk perspective are
mhm,
augmented by bringing our team in and giving an independent view, not just relying on their internal group, and making sure that they're maximizing their uptime, right?
life
So
of the equipment and all that.
right.
Yeah.
Whether it's predictive or just maintenance,
Mhm.
and to make sure the scheduling's done correctly and they're getting the most out of all of their equipment, identifying where the potential risks are coming up and scheduling appropriately for any sort of maintenance or end of life issues that might be coming up. And then
Mhm.
with the larger projects, more, we're generally more looking at complete product flow and product
Uh,
movement within the facility. So it'll be everything from raw materials in to finished goods out, and whatever's moving product around inside that facility.
mhm.
It's whether it's conveyance and not just in traditional conveyors, but
Mhm.
AMRs, AGVs,
Sure.
transfer cars, whatever, or moving things into WIP and taking care of their work cell requirements and assembly. We don't typically do process automation. We
Uh-huh.
rely on partners to do that for us. There's some really great companies that we work with that help us on that side of things, but we'll do everything with the induction into those systems and the extraction and tracking coming out of it. And then we'll follow that all the way through to any sort of queuing needs, whether it's into and out of WIP or
Uh,
whether it's into finished goods distribution and sortation and ready for shipment. So,
Very cool.
yeah, those needs look very different in different industries. But generally speaking, there's some great opportunities there as the plant manager or the C-suite is looking at how they are maximizing the throughput of that facility. So, you might have a bottleneck in one particular work cell, but oftentimes on those projects, we're really looking at, how do we really get the most out of what you're putting out of this facility? What's the traceability needed? What's the reporting needed? How
Mm.
do you interface with your MES or your ERP to make
Uh-huh.
sure that you've really got the machine level interface and transparency you need? And then, what do you need to do in order to, take that information and provide it to, your, customer facing group and ensure that you've got good data that they can leverage as they go out to market. So those are broadly speaking the
Mhm.
areas where
Sure.
we play.
Yeah. I mean, you said something that I'm dealing with it on a almost daily basis, right? So when we engage with our customer base and client base, quite often you'll see that as a problem that everybody's looking at it. But when you step out and look at the end-to-end process and the value stream process, you'll see that that problem, even though it's a problem, it needs to be fixed. But is it the bottleneck or the constraint for the entire system, or just the local constraint and bottleneck? And a lot of times we see that even though there is a lot of energy and effort is spent on that one problem, but when you look at the system performance doesn't really change because that's not really the constraint of the process or the system. Even though it's pain, but it doesn't affect the flow, right? It's the flow is stuck somewhere else, is constrained somewhere else.
100%, 100%. And you know, each one of those problems are real problems,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's concerned with them. But you know, we do find that you know, when you get into particularly the C-suite, but you know, oftentimes the plant manager, you know, the entire facility is almost like one big machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, how are you
Exactly.
maximizing the efficiency of your machine?
The whole thing. Yeah.
And you're right. That's what ultimately they want to do. Is it more throughput? Is it faster throughput? Is it better visibility? Is it better traceability?
Mm-hmm.
Is it yeah, trying to ensure that yeah, your outbound queuing is
Mm-hmm.
done appropriately so you can yeah maximize the number of trucks, or that the delivery coming out of those trucks is in an order that will be maximized for you. Yeah, what are all the different components? Yeah, we generally look at it in those applications when we get into conversations with customers looking at these. We really need as much data as they've got
Mm-hmm.
of it.
Yeah.
Just the raw data, and we'll tear through it for you, and you know, we'll work with you to try and interpret what it actually means to you, and try to align it with your values. Yeah, is it a space constraint? Is it a throughput constraint? Did you just take on a competitor and now you've got a whole new line of products that you need to integrate into your existing system? Yeah, how do we go about handling that in an efficient way? And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how do we look at that modification to your existing system, your new system,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that it doesn't impact you with your existing business, or at least mitigate the impact to the greatest extent possible. You know, if you're looking at putting in a brand new ASRS system, and that's going to impact your inventory, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what do we do in order to either stage that, or do you have other facilities that we can, you know, shoot things off to and try and build up, you know, reserve stock so you can handle it? Yeah, what are all of the different techniques that we can go through in order to mitigate the actual time on site, you know, to an extent, any extent that's possible. That's always.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, you know, it's interesting, right? And you know, I think you like us get to see so many different industries, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really fun to you know try to sit there and work with those leaders, understand the nuances of their industry.
Mm-hmm.
We might know automation, but you know, we may not be as informed. We will not be as informed as they are in their particular niche, and it
Absolutely.
has to be a team effort, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
where our solution is only as good as their implementation
Input.
and their quality, you know, where their strengths are. So we need to customize it for them.
That's great. That's great. So, I mean, you talked about a little bit, but I want to just piggyback on that. So, when you're talking about your engagement with your client base and the leaders uh, in the space, so what do you see? What kind of trend do you see that the leaders are missing, if you will? And you see that the industry is moving somewhere, but it's there, or you see that not necessarily all the leaders are following suit, and you feel that there will be a time that they'll look back and say, "Oops, we are behind now." So what kind of trend do you see that is missed
From the leaders.
from the leadership perspective, and in your, because you're in the technology world, right? And then you're dealing with, I, I see that there should be some resistance against it sometimes, and there are some trends in the technology that people not following, and it might at some point you think that it's going to happen, but it might be too late. So anything from that perspective.
Yeah, you know, I would hate to make a broad assessment over, yeah, what individual leaders are missing. Um, I actually had a conversation that was in this general realm with some local friends and business leaders in our space a little while ago. And yeah, the issue really is that every single one of them are faced with something different and unique,
Hmm.
right? The conversation as we were discussing it was related to, well, why can't we just force adoption of the newest technology?
Hmm.
And it was like, all right, well, I mean, yeah, I get it because we see all this cool stuff, right? I mean,
Hmm.
the things that we can do today versus when I got into the industry, you'd think we were in Star Trek. But yeah, for that matter, with AI and everything that is happening now, what was happening a year ago,
Yeah.
uh, it's amazing what we can do. But the reality is that on the ground, again, it comes back to that efficiency and the ability to produce what needs to be consumed by each one of those businesses, end customer or end partner, right? And yeah, while we might look at it and go, oh, geez, they really need to upgrade that drive because it's holding
Mm.
it back. But yeah, in the larger picture for them, they've got all sorts of assets on the ground and interface and code and other things that have been written based on that. And while the OEM might say, "Oh, well, that's end of life," um, maybe, maybe it
Hmm.
is, and maybe it would be right for them to replace it. But in their individual application, it might just be that it's the most efficient thing for them to do
For the
to stick
producer.
with it until it's time to make a change. And our goal really, as we jump into that, is not to try and predetermine what the answer is, but to work with them so that they understand it.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me what your challenges are. Tell me where, if I replace all of your PLC fives because they're ancient and they don't really work well anymore, what's the impact on your business?
Hmm.
And how much downtime are you suffering now? How much difficulty are you having finding people that can actually work on that code? How much is it impacting your business versus moving to something new?
Hmm.
Or is it really that you took on a product that has different dimensions now and it doesn't really fit well into your queuing system anymore, and we'd really be better off addressing that issue. uh,
Hmm.
so it's really trying to fit them where they are. Each one of those companies needs to decide for themselves what their appetite is for adoption
Hmm.
and
Of newer
and
technologies and yeah.
maybe you're sitting in Silicon Valley and you've got all sorts of people around, and you've got a great ability to implement solutions. Or maybe you're 2 hours outside of Wichita, and the
Hmm.
community that really understands that technology is pretty small, and it's very difficult for you to get people on board that would be able to do it. Let's find the right solution for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's very strong. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So basically, yeah, the fact that even within the same industry, even in competition, I mean, this is something that we also see that you might have some company that is fully automated and another one that is manual. Everything is manual. People moving things, people work running machines within the same industry, and both of them are competitive, right? So
100%.
really understanding the current state of the business and the biggest pain right now, and really bringing the right solution that fits the purpose as opposed to just bring a solution just because someone else is using it. It's not always a solution, right? It's not always the answer to problems. Yeah.
But a thousand flowers bloom, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
some a different way of thinking about something, and who's to say it's better? The only one that's going to prove that out is the market.
Okay. Yeah. So the last question I have for you, so Patrick, what do you, I mean, if you want to, again, we already talked about it a little bit, but just to summarize and close it. So if you want to have like one piece of advice that you want to provide to the leaders that you're within your network, right? So what kind of advices do you give to your leaders that you're dealing with?
Well, I'll try and put that in context of our organization and how I, and yeah, I think, yeah, I try to look at it from a standpoint of, yeah, what are the skill sets that we've got? And what are the opportunities that we've got in front of us? And how do we put people in the best place to be successful? If we are taking the team that we've got and we've got good people who are committed and intelligent, yeah, at that point it becomes our job to try to make sure that we're identifying where their talents are. And yeah, I do think that there is a little bit of a tendency in our society to focus more on, working on your weaknesses, and that's always a good thing, of course. But yeah, let's highlight your strengths. Let's give you an opportunity to hit home runs every time you can. And if we do that, and we try to have a collaborative environment where people have an opportunity to, voice their thoughts. Yeah, is everyone going to make sense? No, but you have everyone around them and their teammates, and let's sift through what those thoughts are and on how we can be better and how we can be closer to our customer and how do we understand the challenges that they're faced with. And yeah, as somebody who's out there and who's working with them and who's got a unique relationship with them or had a unique experience with them, what did you see that we can bring back and work on as an organization to be better and to serve them better and to use your abilities to do that. And then you need to look at your team and figure out if you do have some areas where you need to get better. Leveraging the skill sets are great, but there's always a need for continuous improvement. Quality side, obviously, you fully get that. So, where can we make improvements in our process and our people and our resources and our capabilities? And I think if we're all able to do that, we'll try and, we'll all be out there trying to do the best we can and serving our customers and, respect our competitors too. They're all out there dealing with the same things we are. And we all want to go out and make sure that we're adding value to our customers and our partners. So that's general principle.
That's interesting. As you're talking about the strength and weaknesses, and while you're working on your weakness and try to improve them, but take advantage of the talents and take the advantage of the strength that you have. And that reminds me, I don't know if you've read the book The Good to Great by Jim Collins, and it's talking about the bus, the analogy of bus, and saying if you have the right person sitting in the right seat in the bus, whatever, it doesn't matter what destination you're going, you'll figure it out and you'll get there. But having the right people sitting in the bus and some just because someone is not on the right seat in your bus, it doesn't mean that they cannot be on the right seat on someone else's bus. And it's just as a leader, not just also that decision that this person might not be a good fit for this organization, but they can just flourish and be amazing in a different setup. I mean, seeing that is also the leader's responsibility to find it and lead people towards that as well.
Jim Collins did some good work.
Yeah.
I know you had mentioned that your wife is from the Boston area. Probably his best book is The Last Best League, which is Cape League baseball. Not so if anybody's looking for a good read, that's not a bad one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we are going to stop the recording, but before that, I want to thank Patrick for spending your almost 30 minutes of your time, Patrick, with us and sharing your journey, sharing what you're seeing most in your playground and sharing your advices with the audience. So really appreciate that. At this time, we are going to stop the recording and then we'll talk to everybody later.
Awesome. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.